Okay, so I'm a little late, but I have all my notes and everything, and I'm gonna do the whole explanation of what I've seen so far for this season of Before the 90 Days. I haven't seen the most recent episodes, so more things most likely have happened, but I'm taking it in strides. So I'm like probably about halfway through because the season's usually about like 12 episodes long. I think I seem to season to episode 5 or 6 possibly. So I'm gonna do a rundown of the couples I want to, because not all of them are like my cup of tea or interesting really. Or I'll just say like one or two interesting things about them, and that's just kind of it. So I figured the best way, instead of like last time I just had like the pictures up, because everybody knew Gino and Jasmine, like they are one of the most popular couples that are usually on the show. For these new couples, I thought it'd be fun to do a whole rigmarole of what their deal is. So we're gonna do that. I got everything already at the go, so let's get into it. So this is the first couple that you get introduced to in the season. The woman there is the US citizen in this case, and her name is Amanda. She's 30 years old, from Louisiana. And her backstory is definitely the most interesting I've heard to, honestly, the whole 90 Day Fiancé realm, if that makes any sense. So Amanda was married, and her husband, like, I believe they've been together for like years. Did it say? They were together for 8 years. So, that's a long time. That's basically like your whole adulthood. You have been with this one person. And all of a sudden, like, I guess he just started to get random symptoms. Like he just had like headaches, back pain, or like stuff like that, just like little symptoms of stuff. And then one day they were just like, oh, like, let's just go to the doctor, get it checked out. And then basically he went to get checked out, and then just rapidly started to get worse and worse. And I guess it was in fact cancer. And so 10 days after his diagnosis, he died. Like, the cancer was stage 4 at the worst, literally caught it the last moment of his life and just died. So that's obviously devastating. But the thing that's really interesting about Amanda's story is it's only been like, I think she said 3 months after he died, and she started dating Rezvan, sorry, don't know how to say it properly, and he's 26, so he's like 5 years younger than her, which I also found interesting because her husband was older than her. I think significantly, like about 10 years older than her. So and they also met through TikTok, so that was a little odd as well. Like, he's a TikTok influencer, and she went on her friend was doing a live stream, and he joined, and she was like, who's that hot guy? And then I guess they just started talking. I don't know.
I need to tell you something.
Oh my god. What?
I can't wait to see you, girl. You look fine.
When I hear of people falling madly in love online, I kind of roll my eyes a little, but it's happened to me.
But it was very weird. And then I guess they were talking for about 4 months. Everybody around her was saying like, oh, they've been off and on, they argue a lot, like she gets mad over the silliest things, or she's always mad at him. So they like been off and on for 4 months. So I don't know, the relationship is already a little odd, because in my head I'm like, should you be dating? Like your husband literally just passed away, like not even a year ago, not even 6 months ago. Well, now it's been 6 months, but like it's just so mind-boggling to me. Like I'm just like, why are you dating right now? Like that would be the last thing on my mind. So I'm just confused. But the whole time she was like, every time she was on the screen, she was talking about her husband, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, obviously you're not processing this. Like, you know, like you're just shoving it to the side and just trying to replace him, but it's not like gonna work. So yeah, every time she was on the screen, she'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to find a role model for my kids. I'm trying to find somebody who could be there like my husband was. And it's like, yeah, girl, that's great, but your kids need you right now. Like, not some other random man they don't know. So basically also her sister agrees with what I think. Her sister was like, yo, like she's not doing well. Like she's not processing what happened at all. And I'm scared. Like I'm scared of, you know, the aftermath of when she actually is processing it and like just blows up, or, you know. Oh yeah, and they broke up. I guess the on and off thing was because of his social media content. Because he makes fuckboy content. I don't even know any other way to like describe it. I was gonna say like sexually, I don't know, forced content, but it's like him making pancakes with his shirt off and he's making like sexual jokes, or like, you know, like those videos where those men are cooking shirtless and then they're like fingering the batter and shit. That he makes that content, and he's like has lives where he's like, I'm pretty sure he had a live where he was in the shower or something. I don't know. It's fuckboy content, and she gets mad about it and they break up. Yeah, and she was also talking to her sister before she left to see him about, oh, I hope he proposes, and she started crying because she was saying how she didn't want to be alone, which understandable, but like then I started thinking, you've only been talking to this man for 4 months on and off, not even consistently, and you're hoping he proposes. All right. Apparently Razvan talks to her kids, which, okay, that's her like decision as a parent. He just talks to the kids. I guess she just describes him as her friend. She keeps it a secret from her kids that she is romantically interested in this man, which kind of makes sense regarding the situation, because she doesn't like the content that he makes also outside of TikTok, because I guess he's in like music videos and shit, but he's like with other women, and so that makes her jealous, and she just, I don't know, she's a whole mess about it, and so it's kind of interrupting his cash flow. And so he's saying, oh, like, I have a music video that I'm going to do soon, but do you want to do it with me instead of like some random chick? And she basically was like, why would I do that? And acted like she doesn't get jealous about it. And then she was like, no, like it's okay if you're filming with another woman, just like you don't have to kiss her and be all up on her. And it's like, well, that's kind of the point. Oh yeah, and before she went away on the airplane, she gave her kids gifts, which I found a little odd. Almost as if to make up the fact that she was going, because one of her kids, like her son, is really going through it. Like he's the youngest, and you can literally tell like he's not okay, because I don't know, as a parent, like, I feel like she should be more concerned about how he's acting, but he was literally like, do you have to go? Like, are you, like, why can't you just stay here? Can you just stay with me? And she was just like, nope, gotta see my man, but here's these gifts. And then she was like crying about it, and I'm like, girl, just stay your ass home. Like, the situation was so absurd. Yeah, and then her son was also asking questions like, are you gonna be staying with Razvan? And she was like, yeah. And this boy is 4, I think, by the way. He's very young. And he was also like, are you guys gonna sleep in the same bed? I don't want you to sleep in the same bed. And that's red flag to me. Like, and she was just like, why would he ask that? I'm like, geez, I wonder, girl. And then she gets there in the plane, and you know, they meet, and it's all lovey-dovey. And then they had to let us know the next morning that they didn't do anything, but she had a massive hickey on her neck, which was very distracting. It was huge. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then the next day she called her kids on the phone, and her son just randomly said, oh, like, my dad died. Just randomly on the phone. And that made her consider leaving, not, you know, all the many red flags before leaving. So then, you know, they hang out, they're having fun, enjoying Romania. And then all of a sudden Razan's like, I have something for you. And I was like, oh my God, if it's an engagement ring, I swear to God, I'm jumping. And it was a key to his apartment, which was even weirder for some reason. And then she was like, why are you giving me this? Like, what is this? And he was like, oh, like, it's a key to my place. Like, I want you, whenever you come to Romania, like, I want you to, like, my home is your home. Like, you come into my place when you want, and this and that, like, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, okay, like, she was just like, I'm probably not going to come back for a while. And he was like, no, like, that's fine. I have another idea. Like, this man is breaking his back, you know? And he's like, oh, I have business that I'm possibly going to be doing over in the States. So I figured I'd come and visit you. And then she was like, whoa. Not on my turf. She was like, no. Like, she was basically, well, first she was like, when? And he was like, literally, like, after you go back, like a month after you come back, I'm gonna be there. And she was like, no, like, no, you're not gonna be around me, you're not gonna be around my kids, like, that is too soon, like, we need to have like a few months apart, like, after this. Like, it sounded like she was like, yeah, like, this is a one and done. Like, she made it seem so like this is never gonna happen, like, it's over.
It's not fair for you to do this to me.
He's the first person that I've been with since the death of my husband. I wanted you to be the right person, but maybe we're just not right for each other.
Yeah, it felt like she was pushing him away mad hard after that, because every time he was like trying to work around, like, make it okay and just trying to accommodate for her and her kids, she was like, nah, not gonna happen, Buster. And then another weird part about this, listen, like, picky eaters, that's fine, but I don't know what it is about when they went to the grocery store together, but it really rubbed me sideways, because they went to the grocery store in Romania and she was looking for American foods. It's like, baby girl, you are in Romania. There is no food from the US there, because everything is processed and doesn't meet their food standards. Like, you're not gonna find it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And so he was picking out stuff like, oh, we can have, like, what did he say? He was like, we can have pizza, tacos. Like, he was like, you know, just like, oh, we could have this and this, we could have fried fish and rice, like stuff like that, like just normal meals. And she was like, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat packaged food, I don't eat anything GMO, I don't eat shellfish. There was like other stuff she mentioned too, but that was like the main stuff that I was like, what? And yeah, and then he was like, oh, okay. And every time he picked up something, she was like, I don't eat that, I don't eat that. And then in her interview, she was like, I'm so pissed off he didn't remember anything like that, like what I don't like to eat. Girl, I wouldn't remember either. Like, what do you mean? You're listing off everything in the grocery store you basically cannot eat. Like, good night. I'm surprised they found anything. And then basically they recap the whole having her in the music video situation. And she was just, the whole thing she was worried about was just, oh my god, like, I don't want him to kiss another person. But it's like, and then she was upset because he was speaking his native language like in front of her on the phone, and she was like, I find this so rude, like I don't know what they're saying, like this is so rude. That's all I gotta say about that. For this couple, I don't really have too much to say. Their dynamic's a little odd to me. There was just a couple of red flags that I just want to go into. So the man there is Riley. He is 38 years old from Pennsylvania. He was a military man. He got cheated on, R. Kelly in the closet style. Like, he was at work, came home, his girl was hiding some man in the closet. He found them. Another girl he was with, he proposed to. After the proposal, she legit just dipped and did not come back. And that woman is who he's seeing. So that is Violet. She is 43 from Vietnam. They've been talking and dating for 2 years. They never met up until Emethanol. And they flip each other off to say I love you, which I thought was odd. Violet lied about her divorce, and apparently she had a dating app that eventually Riley found out about. One time during their breakup, before he visited Violet, for some reason Violet was messaging his elderly father. I'm just impressed that his father knows how to text. Like, that's amazing. Like, he's so with the times. I loved it. But yeah, she was messaging stuff like how terrible of a man he is, and just like really trash talking him, like to his own father. When he was talking about going to Vietnam and his trip, he was saying that Violet's birthday was actually during their trip, so he bought her pearls as a gift. And then he also said that he was going to hire a private investigator if things don't go the way that he wants, basically, in Vietnam. Like, they had this weird bet going on when they first met at the airport, like whoever touches the other person first loses. They just lost, I don't know, nothing, basically. I don't know the point of the game, but basically it didn't really work. They both touched each other at like the same time.
I'm going to Vietnam. Vietnam, man. Look at you, beautiful. And if things work out, I'm ready to spend the rest of my life with her. Nice ass.
Everything nice.
And then, as you see in the clip, he was like, you got a nice ass. So when he gave her the pearls, I didn't know this either, but apparently in Vietnam, like, pearls are dirt. Like, pearls don't really mean anything in Vietnam. Like, it's just kind of like silver here. Like, it's just kind of like whatever. Like, cool. You know, like, it's not really luxury there. Whereas here it's like, oh my god, pearls. Yeah, and they had dinner their first night. It was really cute, like whatever. And then he was like, oh, so what's the plan for tomorrow? And she was like, I'm working. Working girl. And so he was pissed. He was like, I came here for you and you're not even gonna spend time with me. It's like, dude, she gotta work. Like, what do you want? And she was like, oh, like, we can have dinner though, but I have to work like all day until dinner. So we can just meet up at dinner time. Yeah, and he was pissed. He was like, I should be a priority. Okay, so this couple gave me very interesting vibes. So I wanted to talk about them. Basically, it's giving the same vibe that I totally don't remember their names. Of a couple from a couple of seasons ago where one had a visual disability, and you know, the guy she was meeting was completely normal, like he was fine. He was just an average Joe. It's giving the same thing. Her disability isn't visible, but it's kind of giving the same vibe. So the man right there is Christian. He is 30, from Minneapolis. Gemini man, apparently. Eye roll. So apparently he eloped with his first girlfriend, and that's kind of it. He never like really settled. He never really had a relationship. That lady over there is Cleo. She is 32, from London, a Virgo queen. Love that. And they met on social media. Cleo is also autistic. I found it really funny because she asked like the crew, like, because they were just kind of sitting there and it really broke the fourth wall. And she was just like, guys, I really need to break the ice with you. Like, like I need to get to know you guys better, like to be comfortable, like on the cameras. Like, so she was like, what's everybody's star sign? Like, let's get talking about it. Like, who's what? I really love that. Like, she was really like, look, if we're gonna be around each other all the time, we can't be strangers. Like, I gotta know what the tea is. So I haven't seen much of this couple so far, from how far I've been watching, but basically it's giving me the ick. More Christians, friends and family, they're really odd. Like, they were just obsessed with the fact that Cleo is a transgender autistic woman. Like, they're just like, so does that mean you're gay now? And Christian was like, no. And they were like, have you even been with a man before? And he was like, she's not a man. Like, no. And then they were just like, they kept asking these like inappropriate questions. And even he was like, I'm not gonna talk about, you know, Cleo's anatomy without her permission. So like, let's drop it. It was just really weird. And if that's like the mentality before you're even meeting this person, I don't really think it's gonna go that well. But yeah. But Cleo's friends were lovely. They were like, oh, like, what do you think? Like, girl, what's your worry? Like, I got you. Yeah, like, just be you. He's gonna love you. Like, her friends were very supportive. His were weird and giving me the ick. Now, everybody has seen this poor man because his story went viral. I'm shocked at how this is going. Like, this kind of thing has never really happened in 90-day history. Like, there has been times where it's like, oh, it's not the right person, their storyline's just cut and that's just it. But this, like, he's investigating. He's like, I'm gonna find out who this person is. Why? So, and it is so heartbreaking, like, hearing his backstory, like, literally made me want to cry. Because it's just like, why did it happen to this man? The man right there is the US citizen. His name is Tyray, 33, from California. Slay. Been big his whole life. According to him, he has 4 siblings. I believe he's the youngest, but I could have that wrong. And he revealed that he is still a virgin. He also shares one bedroom apartment with his mother because she had had a stroke, and his father is no longer in his life because at 4 years old, he was murdered. It's a lot. There's a lot going on in this man's life. And then he was saying how he had no social life because all he does is take care of his mom. So he's like, my mom's my best friend because she's the only person I talk to. Like, isn't that, oh, it's just so, I can't, it's just so heartbreaking. Whoever this woman is, like, introduced as Carmilla, 24, from Barbados. That's not who this person is, but that's who they were introduced as. So they met online on a dating website. They've been talking for 4 years now, which I found a little, that was my first red flag, because I was like, 4 years, like that's a long time. Because usually the couples that talk for like multiple years, they live like quite a distance apart, like, oh, Kentucky and Russia, or like, you know, like it's a distance. California isn't that far away from Barbados. So I'm just kind of like, what's going on here? Allegedly, this person was going to school to do hair, and they only ever talked on Snapchat. No pictures, unless it was like sent in the chat, and no video chat, which is another, like, when he said that, I was like, this person ain't real. How have you been talking for 4 years and you don't video chat? Especially on Snapchat? Like, come on. Be for real. Like, let's be for real for 2 seconds.
My girlfriend lives in Barbados. I've never been in love before, but I'm ready to be like husband and wife.
So they didn't show much of tyray. I was gonna say Tyrell. Jeez. Because they found out early on that this person was a catfish. It was literally like his little intro, and then, hey buddy, this person's a catfish. Like, they found out immediately. Love that for TLC. Also, they're on it. So they were just basically like, hey, like, we can scrap this whole thing. Nobody has to know about this. Like, they were being so like discreet. They were trying to like, hey, we're not trying to embarrass you, buddy. Like, you know, we can sweep this under the rug and say what he was in, what episode. Like, we don't even know who this man is, basically. Like, they were trying to sweep this whole thing under the rug before the season even dropped. And he was like, nah, keep it in. You know, I want to find out who this is. And they were like, look man, like, we called them, we literally hunted them down, talked to them. It's a man. Like, it's not even a woman, like, not 24, like, this is a man. And they played the recording that they had from contacting this person. And he was still like, nah, I'm gonna find her. Like, find who? And then, like, I was so kind of confused because I was like, who are you trying to find? But then I realized he's gonna try and find this girl, whoever she is, which is diabolical. Like, how are you, how?
This is an escort page. This is her, right?
Oh man,
It was so heartbreaking. And the fact that it's still going on, this phenomenon of trying to find this woman, is like, it just makes me feel worse, honestly. And then we have the beloved return of Gino and Jasmine. The season started off with Gino was just getting like fake hair for Jasmine or whatever, and he was like just going on about the cost of extensions, which was like wild to me because it's like, how would you know how much hair products cost, bro? You don't have hair. But yeah, and then Jasmine was at a plastic surgeon's office. Basically, she was saying that she was willing to try anything to try and get Gino to with her. Basically, any day now, the K1 visa is gonna come through. So she was like, hey, I need to get this stuff done. She wanted to have surgery on her parts to be a virgin again.
Quiero que sea virgen de nuevo. Por favor, doctor.
No te preocupes. Ya, ven, siéntate.
Because she was saying, you know, I have kids and stuff like that, so I think she thought that was part of the problem of the intimacy. So I was correct. Jasmine was fired from her teaching position. I knew that's what I heard, but I was like, in between season drama. So I didn't know if it was true or not, but it was true. She was fired. And so basically she has no job. She's just been doing OF, and Gino was actually retired. I forgot. He was retired and stopped working, but he started working again just to like finance Jasmine and her needs. Giving her basically false hopes of like timelines of when the K1 is gonna be filed or finalized, sorry. And so she keeps moving from temporary apartment to temporary apartment, because what's the point of being stuck in a long-term apartment if you're gonna be moving out of the country soon? Like, it kind of just makes more sense. But the thing is because she was saying she needed a new temporary apartment and telling Juno how much it would be and to pay for it. The temporary apartment was the same apartment building as her ex. I don't know if it's her boyfriend or husband. I'm gonna say boyfriend. And so they're in the same building now, which, love that for them. It's a little weird. But she also lives in there with her sister. So her and her sister live together, which I'm a little confused, because then I'm thinking, well, like, why is her sister with her? Like, does her sister not have a place to stay, or is she just keeping her company? Like, is she coming with them to the US? Like, I don't really know what's going on with that, but her sister is there. And then Juno kind of explained part of the intimacy problem was because he's like stressed about just finances, and then their constant fighting and stuff. And he was saying, you know, when we fight, like, it's not really helping my mood, my confidence, so don't really feel like doing nothing. And then he was saying, you know, and the financial worries, like, I can't stop thinking about them, and that has the same effect. Basically, before Juno left, he had a huge barbecue with his family, and they were all very persistent about Juno getting a prenup. They didn't really say why. They were just like, well, I don't know, they, you know, typical, oh, she might just steal all your money. So he was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm gonna talk about a prenup with Jasmine again, because he already mentioned it and she like flew off the handle. So I don't really know why he's like, I'm gonna mention it again.
Next stop, Panama.
This is our last chance to reignite the spark. I'm not wearing a bra. You gonna fit?
No.
Baby.
So I got a backstory to the whole clip before of when Jasmine was trying to cook for Juno, and then Juno was like, I don't have the right equipment. He was talking about a peeler. He did not want to help her cook because he did not have a peeler. Even though she was like, here, like, just cut it like this. And he was like, nah, I need a peeler. Like, he was just being really difficult for no damn reason. And yeah, and even when she said, like, listen, like, how I was raised, like, we just find a way to do stuff. Like, there's no, I don't have this, I don't have that. You find something and make it work. And she was like, especially, like, I'm in a temporary apartment, like, I'm not gonna have everything. And then he just kept saying the same things, like, well, I don't have a peeler, so I can't peel this potato. And then he was being really, like, bitchy too. Like, throughout the episode, he was just kind of like sleeping the whole time. Like, he literally got there into her apartment, lay down for a nap. Then she came in, said she was going to cook. They had that whole argument or disagreement. And then he was like, I'm not even hungry. Like, I'm just going to go to bed. Like, he slept the whole entire day, basically. And I just felt bad for Jasmine because I was like, you didn't even spend any time with her, talk to her. You just laid in the bed and did fuck all. Jasmine had informed us that they had been intimate finally after. And she also let us know that there was no completion. So I don't know why that was necessary to know. And then she also informed us that this has only been the 7th time in 2 years. I love that she's keeping count. For some reason, Juno had got her a fanny pack as a present and 1 package of extensions. And to show her what kind of hair extensions that they have in the US. And she was like, what am I supposed to do with 1 package? Like, she's like, I need like 10 of these to cover my head. And then he started spiraling about money, like, but then that didn't really make sense to me because I'm like, dude, extensions will last so long. Like, literally you just wash them. Like, it's just like real hair. Like, you just wash it, like pin it up to dry, use it again. Like, yeah, it costs a lot of money, but she's gonna have it for literally, if she maintains it properly, years. Like, I don't know. It was their first breakfast together, literally, after he arrived, and for some reason Juno thought this was the best time to drop the prenup conversation. Jasmine was just like, well, what do you mean? Like, why do you want a prenup? And he basically folded and was like, oh, well, like, I don't want a prenup, but like, you know, like if something happens, like, and it's like, dude, just speak your mind. Like, God, I hate when Juno does that. He's like, well, I don't want it, but it's like, yes, you do. Obviously you do. And then Jasmine was just like, fuck you. I'm not getting a prenup because if you don't trust me, then what's the point of getting married? Which, very valid point. Because she was saying before, like, that's what happened with her last marriage. Like, her husband had a prenup and she was left with nothing, like absolutely nothing. So she was like, no, I'm not going through that again. Like, either you marry me and you trust me, or we don't get married. Like, simple as that. And then she basically was saying, like, once she calmed down, she was like, do you really think I'm the type of person to just take all your money and run away? Like, do you really think that of me? And he was just like, no, I don't think that, but like, you never know. And then he came up with some type of, I don't even think this is like legal, how he explained it, because he was saying like, oh, we'll have an agreement that like whoever did the cheating or whoever broke off the marriage will get less and the other person will get more. I don't even know if that's a real fucking thing, but like, he offered that and she was like, no. Like, she was like, I'm not worried that like I'll cheat or whatever. And she was like, oh, what are you worried that you'll cheat or something? I don't know. The whole plan was stupid. And then she basically just got even more upset and was like, I'm just gonna go back to my ex. And that was just kind of the end of the conversation. I think she's seeing her ex. Because the amount of times she mentioned her ex, even just in the first few episodes, I was like, alright, girl, there's a little suspicious actions going on here. Like, what are you talking about? That's basically all of the couples that I want to talk about. There's other couples, like, there's a guy who's deaf who's in the show now. Not that that's not interesting, but just because, you know, it's a very vanilla relationship. Like, there's not much drama going on. It's just, oh, how is he going to connect with my speaking son? Like, it's just kind of like, you know, it's normal stuff. And then there's also like this really super Christian lady who meets another super Christian, and I'm not touching on that. Like, it's just a lot. As a Christian myself, it's a lot for me to just sit through all that, and it's too much. So that's basically it. That's all of my updates I have so far. I know I'm still kind of behind, but I just wanted to recap before, because I'll probably just do that, watch the next couple of episodes, recap on that, and then do a little reaction to the meetup, the little reunion that they have at the end, my fave. And that's probably it. But yeah, it's been interesting, that's for sure. I really hope that Tyray just like gives up. Man, like my heart just breaks thinking about his story, man. That's all the tea for now. And then I'll watch the rest, get more notes, and then have more tea.